You should be afraid. We should all be afraid of our incomes, supplemental incomes, that what we have is not enough. Everything from our stock investments being in dangerous situation if there's a major crash. Of course, that can always happen, but our current political situation is really putting our preparations to the test. It's a real possibility that you and I won't have the Social Security that we thought. Honest. It's a real possibility. And putting this channel together, I had no idea all of this would really come to pass. I suspected some things, right? We could guess from the first term of this president that about some things. I read Project 2025. I guessed some things, but this deep dive into our Social Security system has made me very afraid, not just for myself, but for you. I originally wanted to expand, and I think I still will, on the Airbnb or short-term rental information. But the co-founder of that company is joining with Elon Musk in this deep dive into our Social Security and everything. And I have many people who are posting that they're boycotting Airbnb. And I have communicated to several friends that they would be hurting a friend and other people in my situation who rely on this as an income stream. But we have seen a dramatic dip in bookings. We have seen a dramatic dip. Does that mean I don't believe that short-term rental is still a viable income stream? No, I still believe it is a very viable income stream for me and probably for other people too, depending on your situation. But finding other outlets for my marketing of my short-term rentals, I've been already doing that. I'll be on the lookout and doing that more and being creative and out of the box. But another thing that I'm doing is I have a business. I've spoken about it before, and that business is coaching nonprofits around leadership and fundraising, consulting and coaching. I'll be upping that game, but and with that, I should say, I'll be starting a podcast on YouTube that will be called Philanthropy Geek. And the Philanthropy Geek, which has kind of been a handle I've used with my work and blogging, is going to be about how everyday news that comes down the pipe really affects nonprofits and their way and their strategies and the way that they look at their fundraising, how for instance, that the grants that they might have applied for and even already received, but their funding has been frozen, how that affects them and how that affects their strategy and their fundraising in the future. And I thought as I was doing that, what can I do with my personal channel, the fourth quarter here, and kind of take y'all on a guided tour of what I'm doing. And so I've decided that we're going down a road of daily vlogging, I should say, video of a diary of starting a podcast like that. Looking at my Airbnbs and daily what I'm doing to market them and market my business that I'm still doing. The one thing about coaching and consulting, you're paid for your time. So as we're preparing for the fourth quarter, down the road, I may not want to fill my day with Zoom calls and going to boards and reporting to boards about what we're doing to increase the nonprofit bottom line, doing training with boards. I may not want to be that hands-on because consulting and coaching is very much hands-on. So how do I reach the point where I feel a little more comfortable in, say, 4 or 5 years if I don't have my Social Security, if perhaps my stocks don't do as well, if perhaps real estate takes a huge nosedive? It's quite possible. In our area, it still has not. I know in Washington, D.C., real estate's taking a nosedive because the market's flooded with homes since so many people have been laid off. Quite a few people have been laid off in Kansas City. I own property in Kansas City. We've seen a slowdown on our Airbnb bookings, but we've not seen a decrease in prices in Kansas City. Not that I'm selling, but I've been kind of keeping an eye on that. When you have income streams, the markets go up and the markets go down. The bad thing would be is if all of your income streams go down at the same time. You want to have a balanced income stream. So you might consider your Social Security as an income stream like that, right? But you would not worry too much, at least in the past, that would go down. You would say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this income at this date, and I expect X amount as part of my income. That's just a standard. Or we've gotten used to it, right? We've gotten used to it. And I'm afraid, I think everyone should be afraid that we should not count on that. We need to cautiously perhaps put it in a gray line item in our spreadsheeting that we'll see it when we see it. So to that end, I'm going to start another income stream. It'll mean more work for me. I already have stepped back a little bit from a day-to-day hours put into work. Obviously, I'm doing consulting and coaching, but that can be heavy sometimes and sometimes not. But I don't clock in 8 to 5 somewhere, and I've enjoyed that. Doing a podcast is a heavy lift. It'll be fun. I've already reached out to a few of my friends that work in different areas. We're going to be talking about a few themes already. One would be adjusting your fundraising capital campaign if you've got federal grants that you're worried won't come through. So how do you redirect that line of thinking and try to adjust your capital campaign to account for a federal grant that isn't necessarily a guarantee? And then another discussion is with a friend of mine is with the National Farmers Union, and he has worked quite a bit with the understanding and doing a lot of press talking about USAID and how the farmers sell their grain to the nonprofits, and then people are fed internationally. And there was a lot of grain going to rot if it didn't get moved out. I think they've figured that one out. They may be moving that program over from USAID, which is in question whether it will exist ever again, even though a judge said yes. Yesterday, Supreme Court Justice Roberts said no. On and on it goes. So I know that some are wanting to move it to the USDA line item. And so then that doesn't go away, which is important for all of those nonprofits that are helping feed people, and important to farmers too. It's all interwoven. As farming goes where I live and maybe where you live, so goes the greater economy. So if it hurts the farmers, it's going to hurt the greater economy, and my Airbnbs won't be as lucrative, and my nonprofit coaching won't be as lucrative. So as go the farmers, so go our economy here. So another topic we will discuss is the food banks with that same person. A person that's in leadership at Dairy Farmers of America in Kansas City put an editorial in the Kansas City Star talking about food banks being affected by these cuts. And it was very illuminating. Enlightening, I should say. And we'll be discussing that opinion piece from Dairy Farmers of America, also with my friend who's with National Farmers Union. So topics from the day discussed in a podcast format and published both on YouTube and in traditional podcast will be my newest project. And this project will be a day-to-day diary vlog on how that happens. Today, I'm working on Airbnbs, and you'll get to see a little bit about what I have been doing. And we have a new Airbnb that's being put up. March 1st is its launch date. And it's been remarkable what I've had to do and invest to get this property up to snuff to be an Airbnb. And I'll share some video here. We've had everything from damaged windows to that had to be replaced. So that was, and I got a deal. My son's company put in some windows for me, and it was only $3,000. The other company was wanting $6,000. This is a damage from a renter where they had let their dog eat the woodwork. As you can see, the woodwork has the paint mullioned areas have literally been eaten out by a dog, and the panes of glass were breaking. That was pretty expensive, and I could not get that back through that channel. She is a single woman who works full-time, living on a shoestring, and I kept her deposit. There were big holes in the walls. There was a lot that was damaged, but trust me, her deposit would not ever cover those windows. Not even her deposit barely covered fixing the big holes in the wall. Right. So, turning it into an Airbnb gives me a little more profit in theory if the market holds on them. I can always back up and just rent it outright. And I've done a lot of that. I can also do more executive rental, corporate rental. I've already advertised it to those customers I already have that stay in my other Airbnb that are more corporate executive rental. And we'll go down that pathway. I've also put in the Airbnb little delineators of what you'll accept and what you won't accept. I put in that 2 or more days only, right? And so that kind of doesn't lend itself to the tourists, although 2 days on weekends is pretty standard. But when you go 2 or more days throughout the whole week, you're really getting travelers who are there because of work, at least where I'm at. And so we've already had some really good bookings further out. Not lots, but a handful, 4 of them right away. So we'll see how this little bit adjustment of my strategy might help. I also charged a little more for it. It's 4 bedroom, 2 bath. I'm okay if I get fewer bookings at a little higher price than more bookings at a lesser price. In the end, math comes out in my favor, and it's a little less work. So, and a little less wear and tear on the house. It's been a lot of fun putting it together. And you can see some pictures here. I'll drop them in. And I put a little fun electric fireplace credenza I found off of Swap. It's a lovely piece. It has a little electric fireplace and a heater on it. And you can have the fireplace without the heat. So that'll be fun for people even in the summertime. They don't have to have the heat turned on with it. Yeah, it's been a journey to get this one ready, but it's been a good journey. So that's how we're going to go with this. I hope you enjoy the ride with me and our daily of what we're doing.